Henderson-Frazier here. I am a comic artist, writer, and overall just entity under your floorboards. Today, this video, we are going to be talking about the basics of making a comic. And I know I kind of went into it in my last vlog that I did, or in one of my vlogs I did for making a webcomic page, and I was just kind of talking as I was drawing and going over my process, and someone was saying that they were in the scripting phase, and I was like, that's a very difficult part. I can help. So I decided, hey, why not make a video on it? So you guys might be like, who the fuck is this bitch on my screen? Why should I listen to them at all for anything? I've been making webcomics for a very long time. I've been doing it since I was in middle school. I started on Comic Fury, and I do not believe you can find any of them. I believe I took down all of them, but I went from Comic Fury to Tapas, and now currently I'm on Tapas and also Webtoon, and eventually I will make my own little website and also Patreon and stuff like that, because I have some not so Webtoon Tapas friendly content that I am thinking about for my vampire warlock mage kind of romance. So it's also semi-enemies to lover, just a little, but she's just kind of a gal who don't understand emotions, and it's hilarious because for once, it's not the guy that's emotionally constipated. No, it's my leading lady, Edra, and she was based off of my D&D character, and the guy is in fact based off of her husband in the game and how they met. So it's literally just a continuation, but that's a little sidetracked. I also have Werewolf in the Shadows, which is my passion project that I've been working on for 4 years now, and it's about a journalist, or newbie journalist. He's trying to be a journalist. He's getting there, but basically his entire life he's seen ghosts, and he's trying to prove that he's not crazy and they are in fact real, but ends up moving to a new town, getting an opportunity with a famous journalist, and gets wrapped up in a werewolf mystery and has to figure out who's the werewolf in town and stop them from hurting anyone and killing any more wildlife, because he can't take another ghost deer haunting him and being like, I don't know if you're gonna live or not, bro. Anyways, back to the main part of the video. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've had many comics over the years. From Comic Fury, I had the Weirdos version 1. I had multiple versions of the Weirdos. I might bring it back at some point because I had so many ideas for that, but I'm at a very different point in my life, so I don't know. But I had the Weirdos, Death is My Angel, Roots, and also The Big Bad Detective, which was heavily inspired by The Wolf Among Us. So it was interesting. Basically, it was about a female werewolf who's the big bad detective, and she had to help a little girl who was Little Red Riding Hood find out who killed her grandma. And it was a whole thing. I never finished it, but it was a thing. Okay. Then when we get on to Tapas, I had multiple different comics there as well. I had the Weirdos version 2 and 3. Yes, I've had 3 different versions of that comic, and I hated all of them. I was working through some stuff. The characters changed a lot, and some of them got cut, some of them got added. It was a whole thing. I had way too many characters in that. Then I also had Goddess in Human's Clothing, which was a Hades Persephone retelling, but also it was sapphic. So Hades was a woman in that and ran a club. So it was cute. You cannot find any of these because I deleted all of them off of Tapas, and I was going to go through and redraw them all. And then my computer died and I lost everything for them, so that was sad. I had also a comic that didn't get very far off the ground at all, and basically it was a choose your own adventure. So every week people would be left with a choice and then they would vote for it. I think it was like the Leviathan's Heart or something like that, and some of the people were fucked up in what they voted for. I was like, damn, okay. I might bring that back, but like not the choose your own adventure one, because some of them, damn, they were cruel, and that's coming from me who tortures my OCs a lot. Ignore the cat, she's fine. She's just in heat and we have not had the time to get her to the vet. Luckily, they're inside cats. Rayla, you're not my cat! She's trying to break in here. Let me go deal with her. So yes, I've had many experiences with webcomics. The cat's just gonna cry. I tried and she just said no. But yes, I've had many experiences with webcomics, comics, and just in general. I've grown up reading comics, webtoons, Tapas, Comic Fury comics, like freaking graphic novels. Like, I grew up on the Amulet series. I still pick up the newest volumes. I'm like, yes, this is my shit. Ignore her howling. Oh my god. If I don't know if I can cut that out and like fix it post-op, but post-op, that's not the right. Post-edit, not post-op. That's... Rayla, please stop! That's not my cat. But she wants in here. Oh my god. I swear if you scream in my room, you have one chance. You're gonna be quiet. We'll see if she starts screaming or not. Where were we? Yes, I've had lots of experience, so on and so forth. You guys probably get the picture by now. So we are going to be talking about multiple different things in this little video. We're going to be talking about the idea dump. We're going to be talking about the outline, scripting pages or episodes. We're going to be talking about storyboarding. We're going to be talking about the drafting. We're going to be talking about line art, colors, and also the words, the important words. So stay tuned. Rayla Roo, what are you doing? Come here. She likes to scream. Can you stop, please? Can you behave, please? You gonna behave? You gonna stop screaming? You gonna stop with that noise? She said no. Okay, so we're gonna start about the idea dump. And just as it sounds, you just dump all your ideas down onto a page. Usually I do like a Word doc, or I write it out if I am not near my computers or my phone. So basically you literally just write down anything that you can think of for this comic. So this would be like characters, ideas, tropes you like. So like, I already wrote down a little idea dump. Okay, we're gonna just write down some ideas. One bed trope. We write that down, okay? And then we're gonna be like enemies to lovers. Okay, so we got enemies to lovers. What else could we do? Time frame. Let's do steampunk fantasy. Or that's more like genre, but like, you know, steampunk fantasy. Then we all love Found Family. And let's do Tall Pirate Woman Captain. And Small, Scrunkly Mechanic Guy. Woman Assassin. And poly relationship. Yeah, okay. Literally just wrote those down. No idea what's gonna come from that. I could look at that and be like, oh wow, that's actually really fucking good. Later on, I have an idea for that. If not, I can always just tear the page out of the book and throw it away, or delete the Word doc, or delete the note. Like, the idea dump is the non-committal phase where you just pour out your ideas you have, see if anything sticks and if you like anything, and then when you like stuff, you can do this good thing and just circle these little things that you like, you know? Just like this. Enemies to lovers, but it's a poly thing and they're all enemies. Amazing, love it. One bed with 3 people, love it. I've done that in the book I'm writing, and it is a poly couple. Well, they're not a couple yet, but they will be. They're still figuring that shit out. But yeah, we're just circling the things, but like, say if I said like goldfish, mecha suit. Actually, that might be actually pretty cool. I was gonna say I could just cross that out, but I kind of like that. I might draw a goldfish mecha suit. That might actually be kind of cool to draw and figure out. But yeah, if you don't like it, you can just cross it out. The idea dump, just get out all your ideas, even the bad ones, even the ones that you're like, this does not work in any universe. What the fuck am I on? Did someone slip me something? Because what the fuck was that? It's fine. This is the non-committal phase. This is the talking phase, basically, of your comic. You don't have to commit to anything right now. Just be fine with it. It's fine, okay? So, once you have a little bit of an idea of what you want, we're gonna do the outline, okay? My outline's a little different than like some people's, because like, I'll show you, okay? I already drew out the timeline. So we have the beginning, we have the middle of the beginning right here, which is basically the main conflict, or what it is, like what it's gonna be about. The beginning should be the setup to the main conflict. The middle of the beginning of this comic should show the stakes and also like the characters. You should know all the characters, or most of them, by the beginning. So, got this. Then when we go to the middle, it's not actually just the middle, it is the beginning of the middle. This right here, you want the stakes to be raised up. You want people to feel invested in your story. So, and a lot of the times you have what's called a saggy middle, and a lot of writers also talk about this. Like, there's AuthorTube. I would highly recommend that, even for just comic creators, because the writing is important too, and a lot of people just think, oh, pretty art. Certain webtoons, not naming names. But yeah, you want whatever stakes to be raised so people can be like, oh shit, oh shit. Then when you get to the true middle, you want the climax or a big event to happen. You want something to happen and just kind of hit your fucking character and go, oh fuck. Usually I think this happens a little more towards the end of the middle in like books, but you know, comics are a little different. Like I was saying Usually in like books, I think it's more towards the end of the middle where the climax happens, but in comics, I think you want to push it a little more towards like the exact middle so you know where you're going a little bit more. So that's something I would recommend and something I found is easier, especially with scripting, because you can always, this is just like a basic outline, you can always add things in front of it. It's very hard to do that when you have it already like down here and you have so much of the beginning already planned out and you're like, ooh, I should have put, I don't know where to put things. This right here is, you want to plot out the main points and then fill in the gaps, basically. So yeah, you want the climax. Then you want a reveal or twist at the end of the middle. And I say this as two different things because a lot of the times we'll have our climax, people will be like, oh my god, like I can't believe that. And then afterwards, they're all getting back to normal. You don't want that. You don't want them to have a chance to settle and be like, okay, this is the new normal. A webtoon that does that really good is freaking, what is it? Suitor in Armor. Oh my god. I was like, I was not expecting any of this shit. I went in for a slice of life fantasy romance and I got pain. Pain. If you read that webtoon, you know, because shit, emotions, okay? Emotions. So you want big twist, reveal at the end of the middle. This is to keep the reader invested and also to make sure they don't think they can guess what's gonna happen. And if they do think they're guessing what's gonna happen and how it's gonna end, it just throws a wrench into that. Oh, I'm dying a little bit. It's fine. I'm a little sick still, so I'm like, ugh. Okay, so when you get to the end, you want to deal with the fallout. The fallout is what happens because of this big twist. Let's say freaking, oh, for our idea, the assassin woman, let's say that it was just fucking revealed that the assassin was not meant to kill the pirate captain. No, she was sent after the scrunkly little mechanic. So then everything just blows up. Or like, the scrunkly little mechanic is actually the secret bad guy the entire time. Who would have fucking guessed, you know? Like, I love things like that. This is also like, if you have a comic relief character that is the villain, this is when you want them to be like, you really thought I liked you? Oh honey, that's almost so sad. Like, that's when you want that type of shit to happen, because then people are like, because it's leading into the end, you want your big final like punches and all the fallout that's coming from that. So this would be how shaken up the group is after these big ass reveals, how like they're trying to pick up the pieces after a loss in battle or something like that, okay? You want to hit them while they're down and show them that things have consequences. This is where your actions have consequences. When will you learn? This is where they learn that their actions have consequences. If you have something foreshadowed here and one of the characters doing something stupid here, you don't want to just leave it there. No, you want the consequences to follow them towards the end. You want it to hit them and to hurt. Then you want to set up the final. This is where you get all the characters back together, you're getting planned together, you're like, yeah, one last stand, we're doing it, they're rallying and stuff like that. And then, your little end, your final. You want it to wrap up all the loose plot threads that you can neatly. You don't want to do it too like, too much all at once, but you want to wrap up anything you can neatly. And honestly, sometimes I know we hate a plot hole and we hate freaking when plots don't get into and so on and so forth, but I would rather have a loose thread of a plot that like just has not been discussed then to just kind of see that the author just shit like an ending out basically, and it, you know, because then fans can theorize, they can guess what happened there, or you know, have their own little headcanons. If you just shittily wrap it up, then you have fix-it fan fictions. That's what you do. That's what you get. And then also, you want the new normal. So the beginning starts with the normal, the norm. Then should have the new norm. So yeah, these are all very important things for the script. So, or this is the outline, not even the script. The script goes crazier. And this also can be for a completely smaller size as well. If you're doing like slice of life and you don't have this overarching story, you can do something like this, but for like a single episode or like a few episodes. You can have it, oh, the big climax is freaking they drop their ice cream. That's so fucking sad. And then the rest of it is them trying to find where to get ice cream because the ice cream shop they went to closed. And now they're really sad and they just want ice cream. And then the end can be their friend bringing them an ice cream cone. I don't fucking know. No fucking clue. So when we go to scripting, okay, for comics, it's very different than if you're scripting and like outlining a chapter or a page in like a novel, because when you're scripting, you have to worry about formatting, okay? So for long form, this right here is the scrolling format that we've become accustomed to on Webtoon, Tapas, and so on and so forth. So you would have separated panels like this. So you would want like scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, okay? If you're starting out, I would recommend like 5 panels if you're doing the long form, and if you're doing a small traditional format like this, 3 to 4. That is all you can fit on a page at the beginning. Like later on, if it's quick pace, you do want to add more panels, but make sure it's still legible. So for this, those little panels, those are like events or like people talking. So if it's dialogue, person 1, person 2, person 3, or person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2, and then person 3 pops up down here, okay? And you would also would then figure out, motherfucker. Okay, so the camera overheated and I had to go and, you know, do some adult shit. And by adult shit, I mean my fucking laundry. So last time I remember we were on scripting and I was talking about the paneling. So for beginners, I would recommend 5 panels for long form and 4 panels for like page, actual like traditional comic. So for your panel, for paneling, you want it to like not be too rushed if the scene is supposed to be slow. If it's just 2 people talking, you need like, sometimes you can even get away with like 2 panels if it's literally just like a back and forth. Like, you don't need a lot, okay? And a lot of people, they overcomplicate it. But for scripting, we need to know what is going to happen in the panels and also in this page. So the overall script would be like, these 2 characters fight, they have an argument, okay? And then you'd want to go and script out, oh, character A says this, character B says this, character A says this, character B retorts this, character C comes in and goes, guys, you're both stupid, and that's how you end it. If you're doing the scrolling one, you always want to leave it with a little bit of a question so people keep going to the next one. So that's how you would format this. That's how you would also script it. This right here, a page, you want something that will keep the page turning, okay? So it'd be like, fuck you too, you're such a piece of shit, I love you. What? Like, you want something like that, something that will hook you to keep turning. That's why it's called a page turner, you know? You want to keep having people turn the page. Even if it's a webcomic, it's still turning the page, or on this one it's scrolling. So you want to make sure they're still scrolling and wanting to go to the next episode, or they're wanting to flip to the next page. So you want a script to kind of go for that. And if it's slice of life, you can kind of get away with a little but you do want it to end with either like something wholesome, something sad, something like that. So people are like hit in the feels. If it's like wholesome type stuff, you want people to be invested. So when you go into scripting, you would want to script out what's happening in the episode or in the page, and then you want to go and script what's going to happen in the panels. This will also help with the next step, which is storyboarding. So storyboarding is very fucking similar, and you would have the same fucking thing, but this would also be where you were putting in your speech bubbles. Me, when I first started Werewolf in the Shadows, I didn't think of speech bubbles. And technically, I still add speech bubbles last, but a lot of people like to add them before. So if you want to add them before, you totally can. Me personally, I'm like, I'd rather draw out a full scene and then just stick them on, you know, a little bit, just a little bit. But it depends on your personal preference. Okay, so this is literally a storyboard. Okay, you just want to know what the character is vaguely doing. You can draw fucking stick figures. If you can figure out what the character's fucking doing from a stick figure, that's your storyboard. Okay, and I also just put letters to signify different characters. That's how I storyboard my own shit. That's how I do it. I literally go, A is for Allison, AD is for Adile, then freaking G is for Garvett. Mr. Garvett, he's crusty old man, but you know. And then Lucas is L, but then Lowell is LO because I can't have multiple characters like using the same letter, especially when Lowell and Lucas are fighting, because they tend to do that. They tend to butt heads and it's kind of funny, but you know. And then also Liberty is LI because I have 3 characters with L names. I still feel bad for Liberty because Liberty originally was just named Lib, and it was short for librarian. But then I was like, what would be a cool name for a non-binary librarian who has deep roots to the town that they're in? Liberty. That it works, and their nickname is Lib, and you know, I'm a genius. But yeah, so storyboarding is literally the basics of the basics. So then you'd want to go into your drafting phase afterwards. So you would take your storyboards and you would mark out where your panels are going to be, and then you would draw what happens in your rough sketch. You don't want it to be like too rough or too overcomplicated. A lot of the times you don't even need backgrounds, I'm gonna be honest. Like, let's be honest, Lore Olympus barely had backgrounds, and everyone ate that shit up, even though it wasn't the best. I was at the end just kind of reading, like, please just fucking end already. I've been reading this for years and it's not even good. I was scrolling for just the sake of getting through it, because I was like, I gotta finish this whole thing. I've been reading it for this long, you know? That's not what you want with your comic though. You want people to be invested. But you don't really have to focus on the backgrounds, especially if it's something like a webcomic. If you're doing traditional comics, I would advise simple basic backgrounds, or if it's like an important scene, probably draw it. But I would also recommend pre-drawing your backgrounds and stuff like that, because has that saved me sometimes, because sometimes I don't want to draw a tree for the fucking 15 millionth time. I don't want to, like, I pre-drew a lot of things for Werewolf in the Shadows, and I'm still to this day so grateful for it, because one thing, I hate drawing animals. In my comic, it's Werewolf in the Shadows. Werewolf in the Shadows. I have to draw a fucking werewolf, for one, and two, a bunch of dead animals. I don't want to look up dead animals to reference, so I am glad I just bit the bullet, scripted out, and figured out all the animals that would die, pre-drew them and their ghosts. Well, some of their ghosts. Some of them I still have to draw the ghost for them. But yeah, I pre-drew them and I just copy and paste. And you know what? No one fucking notices because they're looking at it for half a second and going, ooh, pretty, or ooh, and they're scrolling by, especially if you color it into the background and make it fit, you know? So the backgrounds aren't necessarily the most prevalent thing. They can be, and you can get a lot of assets for them now too, but I would recommend if you do want to draw them, pre-draw them. Pre-draw a lot of things that you don't want to draw over and over again, especially if it's like tedious. Like if the character has a very specific backpack and it has a bunch of pins and buttons, draw that thing in a 360, save it all, and just copy and paste it into that shit, baby. Like, you don't need it. So for drafting, you want to keep it simple. You don't want over like complicated, especially for a webcomic, because readability is key. You want it to be simple and to the point. If you're doing traditional, you can kind of go a little more detailed. Oh no, temperature. Okay, I'm trying to get through this really quick because my camera is overheating again. So drafting, keep it simple. Line art, keep it simple. If you fuck up in some parts and it's not too noticeable, move past it. It's fucking fine. No one will notice. If you want freaking proof of this, go to Wayne Family Adventures, the newest fucking pages. There are some errors in the background, and the only reason why I noticed it is because I'm a comic artist and I want to see how much shit I can get away with. Okay, so like, you can find mistakes in other people's comics that are super fucking popular, so why can't yours? Like, you don't need to be super overly like perfectionist with your lines. Keep it simple, move on, especially for a webcomic. It does not matter that much, okay? It matters a little bit, but simple lines, clean lines, you're good. Like, if they overlap a little bit, whatever, it doesn't matter that much, okay? It matters a little, but not too much. Like, don't just have like a random line just like scriggled through it. Scriggled, that's not a word, but you know, I'm getting on a tirade. But yeah, keep it simple. Keep it kind of clean. It's okay if it's a little messy. It can be stylistic choice that you make. Now we go to coloring. Coloring, keep it simple. Look at Laura Olympus. Those bitches were pink, purple, green, monochromatic, and then Demeter had purple hair and green skin. Don't know how that works. Also, who the fuck is Persephone's father? I don't think, in that one, I don't think they ever talked about that, because in the myth, that's Zeus, so, looks at them concerned. You just neglect that? Okay. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so coloring, keep it simple. I would recommend cell shading like they do in animes, and just a little bit of blushing, because sometimes you guys' characters looking anemic. I know, because I look in the mirror and half the time I'm anemic. And also like pale as fuck and never see the sun sometimes. That's also why I have a vitamin D deficiency, and I'm like actually a vampire that like lives in people's closets. I don't fucking know, man. Yeah. Keep it simple. Make sure your color palettes are consistent for your characters. Save those fucking colors. Write down the fucking hex codes if you have to, okay? Be consistent with the coloring, and so on and so forth. Keep it simple. That's kind of the main thing, especially for webcomics. Keep it simple. You want legibility, you want pretty colors, and you want just something that you won't want to kill yourself for drawing over and over again and coloring over and over again. You can also do monochromatic. Go ahead. I've seen some people literally do black and white drawings and not color at all. Go ahead. It's up to you, but I would recommend something a little easier to do, so you can do it like multiple times without absolutely wanting to die. Me, I didn't think about that, and my canvases for my fucking comic freaking Werewolf in the Shadows is fucking huge. My DPI is way too fucking high. Canvas is huge. I don't know why I hate myself, but I do get very pretty drawings at the end, so like, I I'm close to the end. I'm too far in now to fucking change my ways. That's why also for the Spellbreaker and the Mage, okay, that little comic I'm also working on, I'm just doing the basic scrolling shit. I'm like, nope, you're gonna be small, you're gonna be simple, I'm done. Werewolf in the Shadows is my passion project, so that gets most of the attention. But I do love Edra, because I just wrapped up a 9-year-long campaign with her and I'm sad. But, you know, she got a husband out of it by accidentally seducing a vampire a little too well. Tell me how she rolled a 99 on a D100. I've never gotten a roll that good, but whatever. Yeah, so coloring, we can check that off, keep it simple. That's the main thing. Now, for the words, the very important words, okay? Spell check everything before you even think about it. Spell check it, grammar check it, because sometimes shit be slipping through because you're staring at it for so fucking long. The most important thing actually is a font. One, you want the font to be all caps usually. Usually, sometimes you can get away with like a lowercase one, but you want it to be legible and you want it to actually make sense, okay? So personally, I would love for more people to use Verdant because it's a dyslexic friendly font, but I know a lot of people find it ugly, so I just cry internally. It's better than Comic Sans though. And the camera is overheating, so speech bubble should have an H on each side amount of space all the way around from each of the words. It should not be squished in unless that's the effect you're going for. If someone's rambling along and super fast and you're not supposed to actually hear or read what they're saying, you can squish it together. But for the most part, you want legibility, you want all caps, you want a friendly font to read, and that's about it. Have fun. I can also go into speech bubbles, but my camera is literally about to explode. So goodbye, guys.